Uh, oh, Helios. Oh gosh, that was a fun episode. Sarah, well done in DMing that episode.
Thank you. It was really fun to do. Everybody got really into it. It was really cool.
So hey, welcome to Actorspokee. We have special guests here tonight, Tavjan Smith and Bernard Sintum. Tavjan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Javion, and I play Aggee on the character you just saw. Yeah, that was me. um, and yeah, I'm really happy that I get to be on the show with you guys and inspire some of these moments.
And, and tell everybody where they can find you on the internet.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at JAV Smith.
Yeah. And any other shows you want to mention?
You mean like table takes?
Just like table takes.
on twitch.tv/GenConTV. You can find me talking about board games with Peter Adkison.
On
and
Fridays at 2 p.m.
Right.
Fridays at 2 p.m. PST.
That's right. Bernard, why don't you introduce yourself and let people know where they can find you on the internet?
Hi, everybody. My name is Bernard Sintim. You can find me on the internet, Instagram at Beasting. Instead of spelling it with the I, you spell it with the number 1. I play Aggee. I actually play the role of Aggee. It's really cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So definitely kicking in the African accent is different. So it was it's always a good time. Good.
We also have Steve and Sarah here. Steve and Sarah, why don't you start with Steve? Why don't you introduce yourself and what you do in Chaldea?
Oh, well, I do a lot of things. Obviously for the Actoroke, the biggest thing I do is I try to take the adventure that Sarah runs and turn it into a succinct story, hit those big beats, So had fun this week. It was all about Helios.
Yeah, and Steve is nowhere on the internet. You cannot find him.
He can't find me.
He's hiding.
He doesn't do twit face.
Not a single time. It's true.
Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah Moore. You can find me on Facebook at Actor Sarah Moore. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and Ko-Fi at Pixies and Pins. You can also find me every Friday on GenCon TV at 5 p.m. Pacific on Sarah's Table.
That's right. Yay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about Aggee. So Javion, you actually have an extended experience with Aggee going back to season 1. So why don't you tell us your story about Aggee, your relationship with Aggee?
Sure.
Talk about Aggee for us.
Sure. So I remember when I first met you, Peter, it was through Gen Con, and you approached me about an acting gig to play a character, a sort of reenactment for a D&D campaign. And I thought it sounded awesome. So yeah, I immediately jumped on it. I was really excited to read the script and memorize some of the lines. And that was fun. But I remember reading through the character and sort of thinking, okay, I could play this character as kind of just like my ideal version of like myself. Somebody who's like really supportive and helpful to the people around him, and is sort of just really knowledgeable about everything and just doing everything right. Because I feel like that's what the character was in that first series as the NPC. But then it turned into a whole series of its own, because y'all said y'all liked Aggee a lot, and that makes me really happy that I get to actually play as like the leader of this big group in a whole entire campaign. This is crazy.
Well, and I feel compelled to jump in and share my thought about Aggee from back then. So Bernard, you didn't get a chance to see all this, I don't think, unless you went back and watched all the episodes. But when the previous adventuring group came to Graver's Dig, Aggee was younger and a guide in the city. And I think there's this typical expectation that guides are going to try and rip you off or like are out to con you in some way. And I wanted to do the opposite and create a character like, no, this guide is actually really freaking amazing. Like this guide knows everything and really actually wants to do a great job for you so that you'll give him a big tip. I mean, come on. I've met guides like this because I'm a man of the world. I've traveled about a bit, you know, and the character was so much fun. Even though it was just kind of an NPC, started off as this NPC and we just became more and more attached to him. And I thought, okay, for the series 2, what we should do is I want to take that character and like have him be a little older and like all this knowledge that he has as a guide, and now he's going to put together this adventuring group, this group of gravers, and go out and compete in the Samarian hunt, and find out that now he's a little bit outside of his comfort zone, right?
I remember when you sent the email with all of the information about like what was going to happen, I was like floored and my jaw just dropped when I saw the big sign that I can't remember. I don't know if it was Steve or somebody else who made this big banner that just said Aggee and the Anumians, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? It just seems so like unbelievable.
Cool. So that sets up. So for this time, so Aggee, but Tavjan, you know, when I mentioned it to you, you said that you like, I'd rather be the player than the actor, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I definitely I thought about like, okay, could I be Aggee? Could I embody Aggee if somebody else was playing him? Sure, but I felt like I don't know what it's like every actor's dream to become the person, become the character that they were acting as. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get to have more control over where the story goes and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, plus I get to play with Sarah. I mean, dream come true.
Stop it.
So Bernard, now, so you stepped in the middle of this. Like, so what was your impressions like coming into this, like the production, the character, tell your story of your relationship with Aggee.
I mean, I jumped right in. You know, everything is kind of fast paced because what a lot of people don't realize is it's not a lot of movement when we're doing our acting because we're doing it in front of a green screen. You know, so it's like we're limited to what we can do as far as acting wise. But and then another thing is we get the scripts like a day before we act, so it's memorizing all them lines and then you know, acting is pretty tough. But when I met Aggee, as far as like when I pictured him as a character, just like a genuinely nice guy, you know, just trying to do right. And when I felt that I had the lead role, I felt like I had to, you know, take that step forward and, you know, take the lead. And when you told me that I had, you know, a tribe that was coming with me to go hunting, that was like really cool. And it's just like, every episode, I'm just anticipating what's next because I've been following it since episode 1. It's just like Tavjan's actually playing the role of it, so it's like I'm acting as him. It's just really cool. It's just really cool. I enjoy it a lot.
Do you have this is for both of you actually. Do you have something you do to get yourself into proper like mindset to be Aggee? Like is there anything? I know some actors like to listen to music or like to find your accent. Sometimes you have to say like a particular phrase to like find it in your mouth. Like what is your process to be Aggee for both of you?
Well, I'll go first. I mean, I guess I don't really have that kind of like catalyst for getting into character or anything like that. I think really what it is like sort of playing back in my mind the episodes like that I watched, the ones that I acted in, just trying to remember everything that Peter sort of told me about who Aggee was supposed to be, but also like I don't know, it's a lot of like trying to remember how the accent works and sort of just picturing somebody with that accent and maybe I don't know, just getting myself pumped up to actually pretend to
Well,
be
and
somebody like that.
I mean, Aggee's high energy. Like he's
Yeah.
very he's He's tiring to embody him for an entire session.
Sure. Bernard, what about you?
As far as getting myself prepared, mainly I just like I try to talk in the African accent.
Yeah.
Enough to set, you know, just because when I'm on set, I memorize the lines just you know, just by reading over them, and then when I'm reciting them, it's a lot of things that you would say in the African accent that's not necessarily you say in the English accent. So it's just kind of familiarizing myself with the accent, just so that way when I get on set, I'm not, you know, talking regular.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I remember, Bernard, like a lot of what you were saying about the process is so similar to like what I was doing when I was going through, because like you're doing now what I was doing, like almost verbatim, being in like front of a camera with like your computer or whatever, and then just like all you have is like the chest up to do acting. I'm just getting flashbacks to getting the script the day before.
Well, now
That's
we're
what
back in the studio, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell when the director is really good, because it's like just taking a lot of our shots are individually shot and then like putting us all together, and you know, it's just amazing what Peter is doing as far as like putting everything together. It looks really cool. Two thumbs up, man.
Thank you. Thank you. It will get even better. We have some ideas on how to improve it. Yeah, I think one thing I need to do better is to get reaction shots. Like, so what I did on this episode, Bernard, I don't know if you noticed it, but so every time you guys were in front of the screen, the camera's recording the whole night, right? And so I have this coverage of people who are like all the actors go up there kind of waiting for me to say, you know, go, you know, and sometimes laughing at some things somebody says and stuff like that. And so like I was looking through all that to create the reaction shots to stick in with the other characters when they're doing their lines. It was yeah, it's fun.
I love the part in the episode where Helios is literally telling everybody, I have to do this alone. I have to jump into the big, huge volcano. And Aggee is just standing there just like, just staring right into the volcano, just wishing he could be the one jumping in. That was a new direction. I didn't expect Aggee going into. Growing older, sort of just like veering off into this sort of like bravery turned courage, sort of like overconfidence.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be interesting to explore like what is he compensating for, like, because they're definitely, that's a trauma response, right? Like it's his like, I have to be the one to fix this. I have to, you know, I can do it. It's me only. And so like, what was it that happened between series 1 and series 2 that makes him feel like it all has to land on his shoulders?
I feel like a lot of it's definitely going to come out in sort of the role play for sure. But I think for me personally, I decided that Aggee he's very eager. He's very zealous, right? So I figured he would want to be somebody who is like putting their life on the line for not just success or victory or like whatever rewards come with that, but just so that the people that he hired to be with him on this journey are safe, are okay, and that they make it to the finish line at the very least. Like he takes a lot of responsibility for all of them.
I like that screams to me of that, like maybe he's not a guide anymore because he lost a party. Like you know, like maybe he's like, nope, I can't do that anymore because he like led them somewhere that they shouldn't have gone. And then
I'm sure you're right. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So you know, in Graeber's Dig, I think Aggee was one of the oldest of the guides. Like a lot of the younger ones was underneath his wing, right? So
well, what they are, the guides in the city are the kids from an orphanage that the Chan Guild runs, and the Chan Guild, you know, they're kind of nasty in some ways, and they take these kids and send them out, you know, to be guides. and then take all the money, and then keep the money, and then the kids grow up and eventually they leave the school when they get too old and they had enough of it. But and they're training them to be Chans, and so it's a tough life, Yeah.
Peter, I actually have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if a lot of people. So in classic Chaldea, so Aggee is a monk. So they were playing 5e. It's a monk. But in Chaldea, you had this specialty class called Chan.
Right.
And I'm not sure if everybody quite understands that he's actually a Chan. We throw that out a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
You want to explain?
Yeah. Well, it's the basic idea of the Chan is when you're playing D&D, it's kind of like a monk. It's pretty close, but with a bit more emphasis on speed and combat and jumping. They also have deities that support them. So you've got Ariadne and Vex, one deity that's kind of good and the other one that's pretty evil. And so way gods support clerics, these gods support the Chan. So some of the Chan have a lot of mystical abilities that come from these two deities that support them. But Steve, I had a question for you. As a person who's writing the script for Aggee, like, how much of it are you thinking about? I mean, how do you bring together in your mind Javion's performance as a role player and Bernard's performance as an actor, like seeing what Javion's saying at the table and thinking and knowing what Bernard's going to bring to it and all around this character Aggee?
The thing is, I think more about Javion. Sorry, Javion. I think about you the most and how you deliver. I mean, actors, Peter always likes to say, actors just like to act, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Run camera, let them act, right? So the actors are going to bring it, right? Whatever you put on the page, they're going to do it. I always think about what Javion is saying and what he's doing and how he would like to do things. I think that's true of all the players. I don't so much think about how somebody, although it's really hard, Anne's going to deliver a certain way. You can't not think about this line as Anne's going to deliver this line in a particular way. But I think it pretty much, I think more way Javion plays.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always very interesting playing and knowing that somebody's going to be writing a script based off of things that I'm doing. Because I want to try to make cool moments happen, like riding a T-Rex into a tree, or just saying something inspiring to the rest of the party, being a leader and things like that. And I try not to let it get into my head, and I try to instead just play the game, and I focus more on what other people are doing and sort of reacting to that.
So I have a question, Bernard, on the acting front. How do you like some of the other actors? So you're getting to perform with Ingrid and with Andy and with Anne, and how do you see those relationships affecting your acting? What do you give and get with those actors?
Whenever I'm on set, I just want to jump right into character mode when I'm around them, just because of different accents that they're bringing to the table and the way they bring it. They're all really good actors and they bring it 100% of the time. So I know I got to bring it 100% of the time as well. So it's just motivating. I feel like we're really hunting partners now. Like when we're on set, I'm like, I can't wait to see what mission we're on next episode. So it's like I feel like we're really all hunting partners now, and I think we motivate each other. Like we make each other step each other's game up, especially when we're on set.
Well, and everybody has a different accent. Like no one is speaking in their regular voice, their regular cadence and accent. Do you notice? Do you knock each other out of dialect ever?
Every once in a while, you can kind of. We'll have to play a line back because one of the actors will, inadvertently, talk with another accent. So you can kind of tell it rubs off on each other. I can't really talk in any of those accents. So the other accent that you'll probably catch me talking in is just like in regular English. So on set, but I would love to learn. Especially the way Helios talks.
Yeah.
Some of the past characters that we've had on set, they've all had some really good accents as well. So
I'm really
Yeah, when I
jealous.
talked to Andy, I mentioned the character, Greek, and he was like, "Oh, I can't do a Greek accent," but he's like, "I can do an Eastern European accent," and I was like, "Yeah, that's great," And Ingrid kind of was going to be an Arab accent, but she's a bit more also Eastern European, really, an accent, or Russian, than not really Russian, but yeah, I love accents. Can you tell? I mean, to me, that's about creating a diverse world with lots of cultures, and to me, there's nothing that sells a cultural difference quicker than an accent, right? Well, I mean, clothing can too, but clothing and accent really quickly can help set a cultural tone for a character.
I'm really jealous of you, Bernard, that you get to be in the same room. You get to act with all these other people, because you probably actually have like met them. A lot of the people that I was acting against or with back in the first series, I mean, I remember bumping into one or two of them at Gen Con, but for the most part, like, we chatted a little bit during the Zoom calls, and I've always wanted to like be in the room where it happens, so to speak.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm blessed to be around some really good actors, and it's like I didn't really realize how big everything was until I like actually got on set, and then everybody was like, coming introducing themselves to me, because I did have the lead role as Aggee, and everybody was coming up wanting to meet Aggee, and I'm like, wow. And then I kind of did a little research, and it's really intensive. It's
Bernard,
there's a lot of history the game. So
Bernard, do you play D&D on the side too, like on your own?
I don't, but I started to get into it, so I'm just more like observing it. I want to make sure that I'm ready before I jump in the mix, because
just jump in.
Maybe you could be
water's so nice.
Maybe you could be at Sarah's table sometime.
I heard it's a whole nother world, so I got to prepare myself for you mentally for.
Do you watch
yeah.
Bernard? Do you watch the Tavjan at all? I mean, do you prefer to go in and just go clean off the script, or do you actually watch the adventure?
I've seen a few, but for the most part, I just look at the script and just try to familiarize myself with the script. But I've definitely seen some of his work, and I'm honored to actually play. Like we make a good team.
Yeah, we do. Actually, that's something I talk to Peter about sometimes. When it comes to how you play the character and how I play the character, and like the differences between that, like if you have a different direction, if you have a different like interpretation of it, like, yeah, absolutely go for it and do it the way that you like doing it, because there are some differences, but I think of those differences as differences in Aggee's sort of journey, right? Aggee's sort of evolution into a different kind of person from who he used to be as like a young kid, with like stars in his eyes, to now where he's had a lot more experience, and now he's got a completely different take on things.
Well, I think to me that's part of the Actoroke charm is seeing a character in two ways, and it's gonna. I always say that the film that we do, the screenplay, is an adaptation of the RPG session. So they're two separate things. There's not strict continuity. It's like when you see the Dune movies are different adaptations of the Dune book, right? And that's great. And to me, it's part of the fun. I don't try and I've never been heavy-handed about like, well, this is the way Aggee should be because I'm thinking about how Tavjan acted him, right? I'm like, no, we're just like, I love seeing what actors want to do with the characters, and then take it from there.
I got to say, Peter, I think I smiled more on this episode than probably any of the other ones. That's from beginning to end. I was so entertaining. I mean, it's so silly in places, but I just love it so much. I just love these characters. I mean, it's it's a pleasure to be able to work with these four. You know what I'm saying? And then see, it just cracked me up. I mean, when Anne came in off the side of this, like just the muses messing with each other, because they're larger than life figments, Greek muses. They're not real, so they're just acting silly. I just love that so much. It's so good.
Well, I enjoyed having this idea that the muses. So it was really Andy deserves credit for this a little bit because it's not in the script. It wasn't something I thought of until we were recording everybody at the studio, and Andy was. I think maybe explaining to you, Bernard, somebody who was saying, "Oh, yeah, the green screen things. He can do whatever he wants to. Like he could make everybody look bigger than me because it's in my imagination, and I feel probably smaller than everybody." And it's just like he said that. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's such a cool idea, right?" And so I had fun with because of the green screen work, taking all the characters because Andy is physically bigger than everybody. In the cast, like he's taller than everybody, and he's got a lot of, he's just big dude, and so he's got that voice that's just out of this world loud, right? I mean, he's destroyed, I think, 2 of Zoe's mics in this process. And so, but this time I had so much fun, like making him small on the screen, and then you first see it when Aggee shows up, and then Beatty and Rainbow come in, and and just to make Bernard, really big on the screen, and then and Rainbow even like as big as Helios, right? It's like eye to eye. And that was just fun. And I don't know if you caught it, but at the very end, right before when Helios is fully realized and he's facing the spark, and everybody, Aggee, when you say, "I'll see you backstage," in that scene, everybody's back to their relative heights, because that's the moment where Helios is finally not looking at everybody else better than him. Yeah, so it's cool. It's fun.
It was cool.
Yeah,
I absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I love the way that the character Helios is so much bigger than me. Like he's huge, and I'm so little, but I'm the leader, and it's just like it's really cool as far as like the whole layout of the storylines and everything.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was a full Minotaur.
Yeah.
Well, it's so much fun. I felt like in this episode especially, it started to really feel that there was affectionate bonds forming between the characters, and I felt that because I think it was happening with the actors. Like, I feel like we hit this moment in the filming. Bernard, I don't know if you would agree, but like it felt like you and Ingrid and Anne and Andy were just all like happy to see each other, and like, oh, we get to do this again. Like we're happy to perform with each other, and and it just, the energy was different, I think, than Wednesday night. It was really nice.
Yeah.
My favorite moment from this episode was when Beatty as actress was just like, "Well, shit."
It was wonderful.
That's so Beatty.
It was perfect.
Yeah. Literally giving me life.
Yeah, I could hear Lexi saying it and Ingrid saying it, and they both sounded right to me.
Yeah, Beatty is very important to my survival. So
yes.
I keep thinking about how Aggee sort of planned all of this, just like hiring Helios on to just kill everything, and then hiring Beatty on to mother the group, but also just to keep him alive.
Yes.
So Javion, thank you for sharing what you thought was the favorite part of the episode, because I think let's go around and get everybody say something about this episode as a favorite moment, and then we'll call that. Then we'll wrap. So Sarah, what?
I thought that the art was really outstanding in this episode. The bog spirit is basically exactly how I pictured it. So Tanel took all of my ramblings during the session and transformed it into like this creature that was exactly what my brain had come up with, but I could never draw. So it was really cool to see it.
Nice. How about you, Bernard?
I definitely got to compliment the art as well. Yeah, that was amazing. Whoever's doing the drawings on that, 2 thumbs up.
So now love it, by the way.
I actually enjoyed how you edited the roaring session between me and Faux Helios. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome.
Cool.
That was one of my favorite parts of because I was wondering how you're gonna put that together.
Yeah, I know when we recorded it, you were like, our Andy and I are gonna like face each other and do this. And I'm like, no, I got another idea. It's gonna be yeah, so yeah, good.
Also, the way how did you catch me twirling the bow stick like that? That was pretty.
You were just up there. You were just up there
Doing it.
goofing off with the bow stick, waiting for your turn to act or something, and the camera was rolling, and so I saw that in the film, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, that looks pretty good. I'm going to use
Putting it
that."
in.
Perfect.
That was pretty cool.
All right, Steve, what was your favorite moment from the movie?
Well, Helios at the very end. Had big heart. It was all the friends coming together. You know, the music, the way it built at the end, and I just thought it was pretty heartwarming at the end.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was lovely.
better than I expected. Something that Actoroke, we're just having fun. It's like, wow, this is actually somewhat emotional here at the end. I loved it. Good job.
Yeah, it was good.
Really quickly, I just cannot not mention Marcus because holy
So
crap.
good.
Oh my goodness. Marcus is just amazing. Like from production to like, I don't know if you knew this, but he used to be a model. Like he has all of these like random talents and he's literally amazing at each and every single one of them. It was shocking how good it was this time.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he did great. We were lucky to have him part of the team, back in the family.
Also, I have to say that a phrase I use frequently when describing things that are happening in our RP sessions is ass over tea kettle. And I'm so glad that Steve made you say it in the script.
I'm going to give my one thing I liked about this episode, and then I'll do. So, knowing that I was going to do this thing of having the characters be really large, and in the edit, I had Sharon who was helping us, Rennie and Sharon who from Zoe who were helping us do the production. I said, "Listen, I really want to get a lot of close-ups on this. I want to get in tight." So I felt like this episode, I was able to show better filming of more close in on all the actors at different points of the episode, and just to show off their beauty and their expressions, combined with I've been working on my color correction skills and editing too, and so I think that helps. So I feel like we were able to show the faces of the actors better in this episode than we ever have in the past in any Actoroke episode. So
Yeah.
So,
And they give good face.
they do. They give great face. All right. Well, that concludes movie night for episode 4 of Ariadne's Artisans, an Actoroke series set in the world of Chaldea. I'm sad to announce that this is our last episode on Gilding Light. We are so appreciative of Satine and DC, Michelle, Ashley, and Jameson for providing us this home. But I'm happy to announce that starting next week, we will be broadcasting live on twitch.tv/GenConTV. So same time, different channel. I hope you join us there with our celebrity dungeon master, Sarah Moore. Good night.